Welcome to the Back to the Topic with
Gabriel Andreu,
Karen Turner,
and Constantine Elijah. Okay, we are here at STORYBOX by AH Daley. He's a good friend. He's become a good friend over the last few years. He joins us for life drawing. He's a local artist. I also have a story of, I know his son and his daughter, we're friends. So lots of personal relationship with Tony. But anyway, he is an artist. He has been painting and drawing for many years. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have him here for what I consider a retrospective, a little bit of a retrospective of his work. You know, it's not just recent works, it's older works as well. I'm going to read the statement so you can get a little idea of what's going on. When taking up his pencil or brush, the artist begins a magical exploration into the unexpected, a search through the ambiguity that lies behind the image, an attempt to interpret the narrative that slowly reveals itself. The novelist John Magahern has written in work, there comes a time when we have to abandon the pure rational and trust to instinct and strong feeling and imagination. But it cannot be forgotten that the very abandonment is sanctioned by an intelligence aware of its own rational limit. Such guiding principles are as equally applicable to painters as they are to writers, and I try to follow them when creating a picture. So yeah, that's Anthony's statement. Well worth a look. I've enjoyed the curation today very, very much. Tony brought down work. He wasn't sure, you know, a lot of artists come down and they bring a lot of work and they sort of have this feeling that they want to see all of it. You know, I've done different curational jobs, but this was one.
It's nice decorating.
Thank you. It comes with...
I love this wall.
I love that wall. Absolutely
it is interesting.
It's
Well,
really...
I have different feelings, but in general it is.
Yeah.
Is there big paintings too, so you are more attracted by the way that you have curated it. It's like really nice.
These are big paintings. They're older paintings of Tony's. They are on boards and they've sort of, you know, the paintings themselves have sort of been through the mills. You can feel it within their painting. You know, the corners of the boards are a little bit damaged.
Actually, I don't see the damage. I mean, I can paint attention, but it doesn't bother me at all.
No, it doesn't. To be honest, I personally think, and that comes in with the curation that me and Nigel have sort of, well, me and the artist discussed first, and then in the installation, which is where Nigel comes into himself, of course, because I sort of tell him this is what me and the artist have decided we'd like to happen. But how does that happen? You know, when you have boards turn up with no hangings, no picture fixings, nothing on them, they are just the raw, hard work of an artist that has just painted on these boards. During the discussion with Tony, I had an idea of how I saw these big paintings hung, and Nigel came up with this lovely little plinth, altar-ish hanging system that holds back, but the fixings themselves, to me, have become part of
That's true, actually.
The whole wall. Each little story box, and that's what, you know, that's the title of the show, and I totally understood it when Tony bought. This is the first time I've seen any of these works, so it's not like I'd done a studio visit and went and chose works and says, oh, let's have these. This is the first time I've seen a lot of these works. Most of Tony's work I've seen is his life drawing work when he comes here. And he's also submitted work, small individual works to Antifreeze as well as an art fair. So this to me is the first time I've really seen his work as a retrospective. And to be honest, I've had the absolutely nicest time learning the stories behind it and hanging it. Every one of these paintings has a narrative and comes from either myth, religion, war, legend, history.
You can see lots of history. Yeah, you can see a lot of in there.
So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. Yeah. And it's beautiful though, because to me it's like going into sort of Tate Gallery, and there's certain symbolism through a lot of these paintings and icons that you see in famous paintings of the past.
You said about the curation, that it was you curating, it was cooperative.
It was cooperative between me and Tony, and his brother came in as well. You know, Tony trusted me. They were looking to just hang all the paintings and sort of get them in. But I, you know, and I said, I am capable of that. If we just want all the paintings hung, let's hang all the paintings. But if you trust me and you want me to curate the work that you've just, we spent an hour and a half with him, you know, reminding me of, you know, the historical stories that we've all heard and the myths and legends of sort of mould into one in my mind.
You mentioned about icons, like iconic.
Yeah, we have the
icons. I found that his square works, they look in some ways iconic. Like,
do you think that's in relation to Instagram? Instagram has really, because Instagram to me has really, really sort of promoted the square, and we're used to. It's just that I love a square and I love a circle.
I'm a big fan of squares.
You are a big fan.
Well, and this is coming back to photography. Medium format is the format of Instagram.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Well, yeah, it's like the medium format is the format of Instagram, and it's the most expensive one. Because if you want a Hasselblad, how do you call it? It's like Leica. It's this kind of a super expensive cameras. I don't know if I pronounce
format
well.
camera?
Yeah, medium format camera, but digital. That costs you
£10,000.
And is that just to take a picture in a square format?
Well,
yeah, because
I'm sure it does more than that.
No, because it's replacing film with a digital back.
Yeah.
And it's very expensive. Yeah,
it's very expensive. Well, it's very expensive to Hasselblad only film too. But you know, now you buy a digital because it's so expensive to.
Well, but the medium format camera when I was studying at university.
Hey, you have the
And it wasn't expensive. I mean, it was affordable.
It was affordable. I don't know. Well, I don't know. They just saw me. I remember my master this one, and you know, I tried my the project that they exhibited here.
If you look at
YouTube,
on eBay. It's not the new
it's
one.
still expensive because the good thing of these cameras they are so expensive. It's like, you know, you can print in that size and it's not pixelated because you know,
medium format.
It's medium format. But the medium format is Instagram format.
Okay. But yeah, so the square of the paintings, the 6 big paintings.
For me, it's related more to icons. But does Instagram for you somehow relates to icons?
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but just because Karen mentioned it. No.
Well, now Instagram and social media is the way of follow icons.
Yeah.
Your icons.
You are following, exactly.
Yeah,
and
you are
that's
following
what
your icons.
Is.
So.
Yeah.
It's a good relation.
Depends who is doing that. I'm following interesting pictures.
Well,
but icons have pictures as well.
Depends what you want to follow too.
Yeah.
When I started to follow, when I started on Instagram, that was in 2016, so I started quite late Instagram.
I started when they finally started to do it for Android.
Okay.
I could join
I
because
don't know which year was that.
Sorry. Maybe slightly earlier than you. I had the first ever Android. Now I'm just on iPhones.
No, but it was late. 2016, it was late to start in Instagram. Instagram was running many years before. But I remember when I started, that was kind of, what is this? It's only, you know, narcissist men showing torsos and, you know, bodies. And then food.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? It's only food and men? Yeah. And it's, of course, at the beginning, you don't know who to follow.
It's actually food.
And then you realize that, you can use Instagram for that. Like the same that Twitter for porn. Do you know that?
I don't.
I'm not surprised, but I didn't know. I haven't seen, but I'm not surprised.
No, it's amazing. That Twitter, because Twitter is not from Facebook, so you know Facebook has Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp.
Yes, WhatsApp is Facebook.
Everything is from Facebook, but because Twitter is from another one. Anyway, Twitter allow porn, and you can really found a lot of porn in Twitter.
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
About Twitter, because recently in Russia happened shooting at school. It's
I saw
nothing
it
funny.
yesterday on the news.
But
What happened,
it was
sir?
Oh
shooting.
gosh, yeah, a shooting.
yeah.
He was
It's
an
not the-
ex-pupil. He was an ex-pupil. It said this is what I saw on the news yesterday.
He killed
Seven or nine.
seven
yeah.
people and two
Yeah, it's
older
not
people.
good.
So one teacher and one.
So like the
who-
shootings that happen quite regular in America.
Not that
But-
often as in America it's becoming, but no, I'm not about that right now. There is a link to Twitter, what I want to say. They say that...
Relating to Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, when I heard about it, and like, he actually had his gun legally. So he followed all examination, he bought it, all that was legal. But he also made a bomb and information, how they say, he found on Twitter.
What?
And
How
I
to
was
make the
surprised,
bomb?
like, really?
Yeah, well,
Now you think about porn on Twitter. Is
porn
Twitter
and,
still...
porn and bomb making.
No, because I realized this year about the porn in Twitter, and I was shocked. And it's like, wow. MySpace, you remember MySpace?
MySpace.
I don't know what it's No, I know, but it's
okay, you
so
are not so
old-fashioned.
young, Constantine.
I wasn't using it when it was, I think, and as people say, it was, technically it was first social network.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm meeting some young people that are starting to use all of these things again. So like everything, fashion repeats itself, technology
Yeah, they
repeats
like
themselves.
films,
Depends.
they
It
like
does.
Depends
fashion
because
in that way,
MySpace
yeah.
has disappeared, really. No?
But no, that's what I'm
MySpace.
saying. It's disappeared.
It still
but
exists.
It still exists. And what happens
And
is
Tumblr
each,
still
the
exists.
generations,
But in a different
like,
way.
with
Yeah,
all
yeah.
fashion, in everything there's a fashion and there's a trend and everything repeats itself. And what happens is, you know, everyone gets pissed off with the most popular thing and they make it cool and trendy to start using the older thing again.
Well,
like
because
vinyl, like music.
They're hoping to
and
have
everything.
less advertising.
Of course, exactly. So,
Or
yeah.
Instagram.
So
Facebook Messenger.
I saw someone using MySpace the other day, and it was a young person using MySpace. So they're just trying to bring it all back. You watch. I'm a trendsetter. I know all this stuff. You watch.
Thank you for telling.
We're already getting to the stage that these technologies and these social networks have been with us now for so long that they're doing this sort of full circle of people going, oh no, I'm sick of using
I'm getting
this
to the
and
point
this is
that
happening. And we just start
social
going backwards.
networks-
Everyone brings out, it's like a festival. Festivals start, they're really good. They're small, the music's good, you know, the crowd are good and everything. And then over like 10, 20 years, it gets bigger and more people come because all our friends, we all sort of go, oh, let's go on it. Let's go to this festival, let's go to... And then what happens, there's offsprings from the big festivals. They start a new festival again that only has 1,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 50,000 people. And it goes in these circles. And that's what keeps happening. Everyone thinks so... And it's happening with social
Because it's about
networking.
money.
Of course it
earning
is.
money.
I think it's different generations.
No, I
I don't know if I agree with you, but
Yeah, they just
you
think,
know,
oh,
Since you
I'm
don't-
too,
we have
I'm
different
too
opinions.
Cool. I'm too cool to go to Glastonbury, so I go to Small World. Do you get what I mean? Small World Festival. You know, Glastonbury's just too big, it's too commercial. So what I do is I go to Small World Festival.
I just don't go to festivals in England.
Yeah.
Rains too much for me.
Right, so I love that.
don't
A
think I
rainy
can-
festival is the best time.
I don't think I can afford, not in terms of money, afford to take a train.
Another
Sometimes it's
topic.
becoming too stressful because nobody cares about rules and...
You're talking about the mask now.
Yeah.
No, I'm sort of, I know it sounds terrible. I'm sort of over COVID. I'm over wearing the masks. I'm over caring.
I mean, it's not
I am
even...
just telling
I'm
you.
not stressing out about it. I can't stress out about it for my family, for even my mum, who was so nervous and so worried and everything. She's taking faith in her vaccination and she wants to get back to
Normal. No?
well, I don't know what normal, whatever, but she needs to. She doesn't want, you know, she's,
Well, of course, at
you
least.
know,
At least
I'm over it. I know it sounds
I mean,
so terrible. I know you
when-
worry about it
yeah.
a little bit more
I'm more,
constantly.
yeah, I'm
Do
worried
you get what I mean?
about
I know
it,
your
but also
concerns
the
are
fact
different.
if people are not wearing in public places, I don't care about on the street. I have on the street, I can decide not to walk towards that person and go another way. I have a freedom and security of that. But on the public transport, where it's said, you must do, and everywhere says you must do, and people are not wearing. No. Like it's against me.
I suppose that I haven't.
It's more mentally affecting rather than
I understand
physically.
you, Constantine, because I think everyone, you're over.
I'm not getting on buses and tubes, and when I do, I get on with my mask, and I hope that other people have their masks. And I don't know whether that's because it's saving us in any way. But it's making
mentally
people. It's mentally making.
It's just being respectful,
and it's very.
And we are really lucky that we don't have to wear the mask all day long. Like in Spain, you have to wear the mask all day long in the streets and in any part. So I imagine that I am wearing today the mask and it's a pain. I don't know this mask. I think I'm gonna throw it because it's like just moving all the time when I am just talking and just.
We have comfy ones, don't we? I have many different masks, and some are really comfy to wear.
And some of them no. Exactly. So it's like, but at least, I understand that when you go to the bus too, or the TU, to wear the mask.
Just the public place where everyone
public places, the supermarket or something like that. The places that you need or you must.
Well, I suppose, and where you're in closer contact to strangers. I'm in Cave, and obviously in Cave we wear the mask. Last week we had Marie and Irene here, and Marie, she kept her mask on. And so I straight away socially distanced. I kept my mask on all through curation and hanging. And
people need to respect their choice. If they
no,
decide to use.
I do understand. I totally, when I say I'm over COVID. I suppose I'm over talking about it. I'm over worrying about it. I'm over thinking about it.
No, of course. It's about the situation.
Which is probably quite ignorant of me, you know
Just
what I mean?
more about
I don't know if it's ignorant. We are tired too, sorry.
What happened at the Brits last night was a controlled experiment that these 4,000 care workers, which is great, and they were having the best time. The Brit Awards, so where you win, music
I didn't
awards.
understand that. Okay.
And sorry, and so the 4,000 care workers, they all got invited if they wanted to come, and be part of this experiment. And they all got tested before they went in. If you had a clear test, that you went in. And they weren't socially distanced. They were in the audience partying and dancing and listening to live music. And oh my God, the joy on these people. It was weird because the celebrities didn't look that happy. They were all socially distanced and sat. Do you get what I mean? But the audience were just having the best time. Do you get what I mean? Watching the music. Elton John sung. And the lovely guy from It's a Sin, the lead.
Years
and years sung with Elton John, and they sung Pet Shop Boys, It's a Sin. Oh my God. Try and go YouTube.
Oh, I'm gonna YouTube.
Oh my God. Elton John on the piano, years and years, and they done the Pet Shop Boys, really beautiful version of It's a Sin, really good. So watch it.
They were testing it before and after, I guess.
They're testing, and they're going to see if there's any kind of peak within.
So
do they know? We don't know yet. It was last night. It was live last night. They done a festival a couple of weeks ago.
But that's really good. Coming back to years and years, and this is the actor of It's a Sin, so it's related with the TV series and related with the pandemic of
well, that's what. To be honest, the Brit Awards last night, I was it was really quite emotional. This was a live event happening for the first time. They had
a couple of years, I believe.
They had they had some great characters on. They had lots of trans characters. It was good. I enjoyed it. They had some good presenters on. It was quite nice to see. It was different. It was weird. It's weird watching telly now because EastEnders and all these programs. I don't watch them, but my mum watches them, and they're all carried on being filmed throughout the sort of pandemic.
Well, they stopped for a few months.
They stopped for a little while, but they pretty much came back. And it's really weird watching it. It's weird because you can see people's interactions are different. It's
live.
been quite interesting.
watching live, so understanding that people what you see right on your TV,
Yeah, right there. It was
at
good.
the same time exist in the same country but behaving completely different way.
Well, lots of people apologising for getting too close. You know, oh God, I'm meant to be social distancing, and then people getting quite drunk, and you can see that they weren't. You know what I mean? When the presenter was sort of going over to talk to the Little Mix, and one of the girls from Little Mix who isn't pregnant, she was just like being quite, you know what I mean? And you just thought it was quite funny seeing how people are restraining themselves when they're in company to try and. Keep their distance.
I saw some image that they were quite like the Soho experiment that you say, but it was in Madrid because they opened Madrid in a way, and it was horrible. You saw all these teenagers or people of 20 years old really drunk all together.
Well, daytime drinking.
You know, but because they have been in ban, you know, all this time without going out, and so now they are allowed, and was a bit too much, you know. People was like, just, wow, this is what is happening now, you know. You allow them.
You sort of can't blame them. You can't.
No, I can't blame there, but you know, it has to be a limit in the way that guys, you know, it's gonna be a third way we are now. It's gonna be a fourth way, a fifth way. I don't know which way.
Like you were saying about the interaction of young people.
Yeah, no,
because they have to, because they feel they need.
They need. Of course they need, but it's
but
like
it makes worse in general situation about
because
pandemic.
it's gonna be another wave.
Yeah.
Because we are gonna be in another lockdown.
I mean,
this is, you know, the thing is, we know that now we have more freedom than before, but we need to be cautious.
I don't think there's
for them to
lockdown.
Ooh, babe.
I have inside information.
Find the way.
Babes.
That's a good noise.
That's,
yeah.
Babes. I don't know if, you know, I mean, it's possible that here, because we are really advanced with the jobs, but not in Spain. You know, in Spain, people of my age, they haven't had the first job still. So the thing is, you don't know, and then you know you have a lot of different kind of strengths, like the British strength, the Brazilian strength, so
the Indian,
exactly, the India. How is India now? So you know,
and
it's
actually
like,
we need to be careful now because nobody says that it's never happened here.
Yeah, but our vaccines will protect us, and the thing,
it's a
you know,
question
the
of
British.
chance.
The
More
British,
likely, but not definitely.
the British take on the COVID, to me, has always been about not putting a strain on the NHS. That's what all the lockdowns, the excuses for all the lockdowns and everything, is about not putting a strain on the NHS. Now that a majority of people are vaccinated in this country,
the first jab.
Well, me and Nigel are having our second this week. Do you get what I mean? So
because it's 11
50
weeks,
and 60, it's 11 weeks. Exactly.
I'm going to have in 10 weeks.
It is, we've got drop-in clinics that are doing one-day vaccinations for 40-year-olds. Do you get what I mean? So it's going down pretty quick. And so now, and obviously, supposedly at the beginning of the COVID, they said that young people are less vulnerable. So the younger you are, the less vulnerable. Anymore. Yeah, but it is.
They believed in that.
Yeah, but
that
Constantine, it is. The amount of people that have died of COVID have been, the higher majority of the people that have died of COVID have been of a later age.
Depends how to...
Or had.
We don't know 100%.
I mean, we don't know for 100%. It's a risk if you are young.
But what I'm saying is now...
I have my cousin that her partner died with only 52 years old. You know, it was really sad.
There are young people who are dying from
it was last
COVID as well.
April. And very young too, so we still don't know, but is there less...
But not a high majority, that's what they're saying. So everything is worked out in majorities and how much pressure it's putting on the NHS and the amount of
Europe
people.
say, for example, that AstraZeneca is not recommended for young people because of that side effects, which was common known.
Well, I don't know. In Spain, they stopped it for a few weeks because of the AstraZeneca problem.
Denmark, I think,
and my parents, that
right
they
now.
are over 80, they have not the AstraZeneca because the problem was just in case they have the blood clot.
But you can get blood clots from paracetamol if you're bloody of a certain age, to be
Oh,
honest.
so you have
Do you-
blood
you
clots
know-
all the time, every time that you go to the NHS here,
Yeah,
because
well-
they always give you paracetamol. Back to the topic, sponsored by Cave.
Back to the topic, sponsored by Cave.
Back to the topic, it's sponsored by...
Sorry. So I'm quite excited about this show. I hope people come down and speak to Tony and really sort of engage with him and where his influences lie. I need to speak to him to know whether his influences lie within reading or looking at art. I know Tony and his brother, they meet up very regularly and they go and see art in galleries. Like I say, he said to him, he made a comment today, I'm a before Renaissance man, you know, this is called STORYBOX. And the way it's been told to me after the conversation I had, the wall in front of us is the story of Icarus. Do you recognise?
The wall with the red frames.
The red, it has silver frames with red borders.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of drawings, and it's the story. Well, the story ended up as Icarus. It's quite interesting, you know, for me, myths and legends, you hear them all. This story box here on this wall tells the story of before Icarus, how Icarus became Icarus. And that was fascinating for me from Tony. We spoke about 1970s movies, made movies about these mythical legends and these mythical stories. And so we have the Golden Fleece, we have the story of, this one is the story with the fish of Tobias, whose father was going blind, and he was told that if he found this certain fish in the sea and pulled out his guts, it would stop his father from going blind. So these are all stories. If you're into history and you're into these sort of legends and these stories, you'll know all this. This is beautiful. This is Brighton. And this is what I love. You know, Tony...
For me, it's London there in the background. And I'm
Because
curious
of the London
because...
Eye.
Yeah.
No, this
but
is
that's
Brighton.
Brighton.
But this, and I love that this is just...
Cannot be London.
I said to him, I was talking with Tony, the artist, and he has, you know, all these stories have historical context. The big wall of big paintings is war, marriage, it's birth, marriage, death. You have here is the story of Icarus. You know, you hear these stories and they all sort of interlink. He spoke about films from the 70s, and them I remember talking about movies like we were earlier. You know, films have been made of these scenes. This is the story of the first pope, who was supposedly a woman, but she was transgender and she had a baby, and that's how they found out that she was a woman. There's just some amazing stories throughout history that all these. This was the killing. This was
because this is really expressionist.
It's very
these
expressionist.
These four large
Yeah,
paintings, because these two here, no, but these four large paintings are totally expressionist.
He's got a great way
And
of
I love
using,
German expressionists.
Okay.
Well, this is like just coming here and seeing this.
This is
German
the killing
expressionist.
of Becket, Thomas Becket, who was an English priest who got sent away and was friends with King George II. But it showed how King George II kept people close to him because it meant he had allies within. You know, Tony told me all the stories of these today, and for me, the way my mind works, it all melds into one.
This one is striking me. It's like I
said, what is
middle
this? He just says this is just marriage. This is marriage. And it's interesting because I said, you know, the priest and they're holding her under the breasts. This is about ownership. This is, you know, I think the narrative through these two are these are religious.
On the left.
These are religious.
But this one is religious too, or no?
It feels religious, but it's not. This is about marital status. These are war. This was the killing of who was it got killed that started the Second World War. This is the killing of. There's titles to all of these works.
Yeah, the Russian king. This is the Russian king. This is your history, love.
Right, we have the Legend of Pope Joan,
Yeah.
which is this, the Legend of Pope Joan, Murder in the Cathedral of St. Thomas
St. Thomas Becket.
Postcards.
Notre Dame, Maria Quarters.
Mary Quarters. Postcards from
Middle bottom.
Sarajevo.
Sarajevo.
Is this one?
It's,
Gas, Quick Boys is this one, which you spoke about,
Second
COVID.
World War,
yeah.
Second one. And with this ring, no, I think this is with this ring, I thee wed.
So which one is that one? Because I think that you are saying that...
This is the, no, he definitely said this is the reason why the Second World War started, or the First World War.
First, probably because
Someone
World
got
War,
killed.
Russia
It
didn't
was-
have any king. It was already.
Yeah, they tried, that's
republic.
right, they tried to
On the
kill a
first-
king that
It
was
was
going to
killed
become a
during the
king,
first.
so they tried to kill the family. This is, you have
It
to
was
speak to
killed
Tony,
during
he
the
knows.
First
I
World
feel,
War, see?
I feel a bit
Like
embarrassed
it
now,
was
but to be honest, I heard
revolution.
so many stories.
Well, you don't need to feel
17.
embarrassed. It's too much history. Yes,
Yeah.
There's a lot of history.
to remember. But I think that is the Tsar of Russia.
Yes. Yeah. I knew
There
you'd
should
know
be First World
more
War.
than...
Because
yeah.
the image, no, because the
Yeah.
image. But I'm not sure because it's a bit expressionist too. So all these
Yeah,
parts.
It is definitely about Russia. This.
Yeah,
part.
Yeah.
exactly. So it's the
And
Tsar
it's,
of Russia.
but supposedly this was the reason that
So
the
it's
world...
First World War then.
So
not
this
the
is the
second.
reason that the First World War started. This man got killed, and this was the reason around the First World War, and then obviously this relates.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know that much history.
Anyway, yeah. So
Anyway, expression.
okay, it's very expressive.
Just put that.
And to
I
be
love that.
honest, and to be honest, what I love is
And this one, and
This-
I really, well, no, we don't need to say favorites today because
no,
the other day
it's
when
hard to say.
no, but you
favourites
know
in
the
this
other
one.
day when I was listening the podcast
Yeah.
and I was thinking, yeah, it's nice. Well, one day that we say
What are your
favorites,
favourites?
but then if they don't see it, it's too difficult for the listeners.
For listeners,
You
to
know what I
understand.
mean? It's like how they are.
But then
gonna
I
know.
think a lot of our listeners don't get to see the shows that we talk about.
For this, it's too difficult, so it's better to know what we are seeing now.
Well,
The
these-
Tsar
I
of
think-
Russia, the two, here we are seeing now a woman with a wonky eye, with a man
With
that
a
is
wonky eye.
it's a wonky eye, and then it's like the husband with the ring and the priest like handing the priest, but she's not really happy.
No, of
So I
course
would
she
like
is.
more to express
Yeah.
what we are seeing.
It's about the story.
Mostly because
But-
this is figurative art.
Yes. The exhibition
Ah.
is called Storybox.
Exactly. So it's a story box. It's figurative but expressionist.
Yes.
But figurative in the way that we are seeing.
Yeah,
Not like
yeah.
last week Irene that was more abstract.
Yes.
Everything was more abstract. Or Marino because it was more figurative with the faces. But Irene was more abstract. He is figurative.
And also,
We
this
see.
is talking about history, it's talking about rights, it's talking about how we look at old paintings and how we consider these stories throughout history. And I love this wall. I love it. When I saw the big 6 paintings, at first I thought this was all there was.
I see.
Was when they came in.
And it's oil and board.
It's oil on board, yeah.
On board.
On
Sorry.
board, yeah.
Oil.
But when I came in, because Nigel went and collected the works with Tony, he lives just up the road, and I said to Nigel, I said, I think it's just 6 big paintings. I said that's all I've sort of got in my head that it is. So when I walked in and
You
I
are
saw
so
them,
naive,
and I
still.
saw them, and all the small paintings were behind the big paintings. So I sort of saw that, and I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be,
It's gonna work.
you know,
Easy.
6 paintings, 5 walls, you know,
We will
how
realise.
do we curate that sort of thing? But then I realised that there was all the small works. And, Tony in his head had sort of said, well, I was thinking sort of a big painting and a row of small paintings. And I was just like, I've had a little like, and Nigel had said to me, I said, how are we going to fix these? There's no fixings. They are oil on board. They lean against the wall. Do you get what I mean? They're a little bit bowed. They're quite old work.
This is a really good curated
Nigel,
thing that
this
you
is,
did.
and Nigel made all these. He made
Nigel,
these.
we love you.
We love you, Nigel.
We love you.
He is the most.
And this is my favorite wall.
This is my favourite one.
Of
And I said to
all the-
Tony, He was here, I said, I've had an idea, and he said, what is it? I said, I want to put all 6 of the big ones on the one wall. And he went, oh, I don't. I said, because if you start just mixing it up, I said, you move away from the stories, you move away, and the exhibition is called STORYBOX. He named it that. I said, you know, so yeah, this is my favourite. If we're going to pick a wall.
I think I have this of the cars that
Of course,
I really
this
like.
is great.
You know, this is small, all on board, but has a lot of story there, you know. But then after this one, the big ones, they work really well together. I think that,
They
you
do
know,
work well
you did a really
together.
good creative.
Thank you, sweetheart. This is Marie, which is Tony's wife, and this is a
Above
story.
the entrance to your studio?
Yeah, above the entrance. And this needed, I sort of said to Tony,
what-
I said, look, Tony,
what is
we're
it
not...
about? Because it
I
really
don't
attracts
know.
my attention.
He
I
said
do
to
like
me
it.
today, he said, it was quite interesting. I knew Tony's wife, sadly, she passed a few years back, and I knew her quite well. And straight away, when I pulled this picture out, I knew it was Marie, and I didn't say anything. He said, this is a story of something that happened in the garden. And I said, okay. So we had some pictures that I was like, you need to tell me, Tony, what ones are really important that you need to have in the show. Because there are some I'm not good. There was some left over. And once we'd put the stories together, we got the Minotaur here, which is a famous story of the lovers. He gave her she gave him a ball of string so she could go to the labyrinth to kill the Minotaur. And then he got sent away. It's all very much about Poseidon and myths and legends, and which I love. But they all mingle into each other. It's like when this story, he was telling me this story about the ant and the honey going through the shell and figuring its way out, and then it turned into Icarus. And I was like, oh, I know the story of Icarus, but I didn't know the before story of Icarus. So then the same, you've got the Minotaur story, and he's been shown in Picasso, you know, they've all used him as a sign of the devil and everything. So we've got this story here. Yeah. But this one, I sort of knew it was Marie, but it was Marie when she was younger. You know, when I knew her, she was an older lady, and she was in a mobility car. So that was my relationship, but I knew straight away. I saw the face, and I thought, this is Tony's wife, this is Marie. But I didn't say anything at first. We just sort of said it. And I just said to him, when we got to the stage where I said, how do you feel about this one going here? He looked at me and I said, it's Marie, isn't it? And he said, yes, it is. I said, well, she has to go in then. And he didn't tell me this story, but there is a whole narrative, and I don't know whether it's a story that Marie told him, whether it was a dream Marie had, or whether it was a real experience that she had, Maria. Yeah, I love this, and it has to be here. And we've also got, you know, all of them are quite sort of, they feel quite traditional in their making, but then there was these two.
I don't know if I agree with you. It's like, I mean, traditional in which way?
I suppose
I love to have this.
I suppose in a...
What do you mean by traditional?
Exactly.
I mean...
What do you mean by traditional?
I mean... Okay, you are putting me on the spot, but it's fine. It's fine. I can
we like that. We like to teach you.
I can handle this question. I mean, it feels, I suppose, you know, for someone that, you know, for me, I deal a lot with young contemporary artists that are always trying to bring things sort of forward and be maybe a bit shocking, maybe a bit, you know, to me, when I use that term traditional, I mean, it's charcoals, it's drawing, it's painting, it's oil, it has narrative. And like, it's before abstraction, it's before all of these, you know, there's a story there. People can come in and see it and create,
can recognize
and
story,
recognize stuff and stuff. So I suppose it is like going into the older galleries of the Tate, which a lot of us nowadays don't do.
Well, but still,
as well.
you
Do you
know,
get what I mean?
one of my best friends, artist friends, David Colinas, he does abstract expressionism. It's how he defines his art, you know, and It's not like this.
Well, no, this is
But
before
as I-
Renaissance.
as I say to
this
you-
is quite far back. So when I talk about tradition, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but as I say to you, for me, these big ones are expressionists.
Yeah,
German
yeah.
expressionists
German
to be
expressionism.
more.
You must. I
precise.
hope you can get here to meet Tony. He's a fascinating, really interesting guy. Do you get what I mean?
Let's
See
meet
what
Tony.
happens this weekend.
Tony, we have to meet.
Anthony, AH Daley, but yeah, Anthony, Tony. He's so lovely. He's a
Please
lovely
send
guy.
me.
Come
But
to
also,
see Tony.
come to see Tony.
Come
Yep.
to see Tony.
But we also have what I do love, and I do just want to say these two great pictures that are out
Again.
here. Again, sorry.
So again, we haven't seen the main pictures.
And what I love about these two is they have this sort of conversation, but it screams sort of maybe a bit more modernism, a bit more not taking himself so seriously. You know,
Talk to each
but
other
both
very
of
well.
them
Yeah.
have the same narrative. There's a story. This is a goddess that she had to marry a man, so her father made her into the mulberry bush. This is a famous. They both come from famous tales of sort of myth and legend.
Is this
And we
printing?
love this. This is painting and collage, which I like. Do you get what I mean? This looks like collage to me. This is collage.
So it's all painting.
I don't know. I think this is collage.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
it looks like.
Yeah, it's mixed of painting, drawing, and I'm sure there's collage. We have
possible,
to.
yeah.
If this is all drawn, then this is. But this feels
it
like
looks
collage.
Yeah. No, this
It's
is
ink,
yes, no, you say it's
Charcoals.
ink,
It's
Yeah.
mixed.
it's
Yeah,
a
it
mix
looks
of
like
mixed,
mixed
yeah.
media. Yeah.
But I
yeah.
love these two. I love these two because,
Look,
and
yeah,
that's why I see it
this
as a
is-
retrospective as well. This is a real retrospective. You know, the works on paper inside the gallery have all been made in the last 2 years. Do you get what I mean? The paintings are dated. I can't date them. He hasn't put on the information, but I know that they are dated. Whereas these feel a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more loose, I suppose. Do you get what I mean? Unless this one reminds me of the sort of drawings, the preliminary drawings that Tony does when we're life drawing. He makes beautiful life drawings, just really beautiful with charcoals.
I like more the other
This
one
is
because the mix of collage with
Beautiful.
the painting.
I love that one.
And the charcoal.
This is the one that I want to buy if we buy
Karen,
it.
you cannot buy
If I buy one this week. I have bought one.
Karen, you cannot afford to buy every week.
I can't.
Nigel, stop spoiling her.
Just 2 weeks left, so
Nigel, stop spoiling her. Spoil me. Spoil me.
Yeah.
That's
I
very
love
nice
that one.
because I didn't realize, but when
my
you say
favourite.
the details,
Yeah.
it's quite amazing how he has put in this collage. So it has draw this,
Yeah.
cut in this, then put in here.
Yeah.
But that one, for sure, he
Yeah.
found it in a,
Yeah.
I don't know, 18th century magazine. But I don't know if they have magazines.
I don't know
now.
what this one's called. I don't
But it's
know.
from a magazine.
Look at that. Yeah, we know that one.
We love this. Does it? Oh, there you
The
go. The Abduction of Persephone.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. The Abduction of Persephone. So it's obviously a.
Yes, another mythologic
Yeah.
thing. The wall is
Careful, the whole
moving.
wall's-
Yeah, but it's the mix of collage
Yeah.
with another collage,
Yeah.
with then the drawing and the charcoal.
The inks. It
And
looks
the
like
watercolor
inks.
paper. You
Yeah.
see the water
Yeah.
that mix is really, really, really beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Come to cave.
Come to cave.
yeah. Come to cave if you want to see more and experience yourself.
Okay.
Don't confuse me editing though. So I just turn it on and now we're good.
Stop taking it from John. Yeah. There you go. It has cracked. It has cracked. It has cracked.
Looking forward to see you at Cave.